Okay, we should be live. All right, y'all. Let me know if you guys can hear me. Should be. Oh, Are we good? Hey, Patchy, what's up? Let's see. Are we live? Are we live? Do 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 do. Loud and clear. Okay, good, good. Still. Oh, hold up. Gotta turn off my stream audio. So what are you up to? Well, streaming clearly. Um. Okay, guys. So here is the dealio. What we're gonna be doing is we're going to be doing the 5K Q&A that I was supposed to do months ago. What's gonna happen is that, as you can see on the upper right hand corner of the screen, I'm gonna be answering the old questions that were asked for the 5K Q&A. Then when all those questions have been answered, I'm going to be taking a brief break. Then I'm gonna set up a gonna change the title of the stream and all that, so that we'll answer new questions for the 6K Q&A. So what's supposed to happen by the end of all this is that there will be two separate videos for you guys to watch. So with that being said, I have the reminder up on the screen so that people can know. And we're going to be playing a game while I answer these questions. What game is that, you may ask? Well, see for yourself. And I'm going to turn down my desktop audio. So let me know if the game is too loud. Do you know me? Just asking, text checking. Yeah, I remember you. Alright. There we go. Good that you didn't change. I'm assuming you mean my OC's design, and that just hasn't happened yet. So yeah, guys, today we're playing Pokemon Pearl. Diamond and Pearl are hands down the worst main series games, so I'm gonna be talking shit about it the entire time. It's gonna be fun. So once we get through all this introductory crap, we'll start answering the questions. So let's just blah, blah, blah. Yeah. No info needed. I do not need your info. Here, I have a Pokeball. Touch the button in the middle of the Pokeball. Yeah, whatever. Blah, 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 blah. I know this already. I don't care. Why don't you tell me about yourself? Are you a boy or are you a girl? Well, what am I? We're gonna pick Dawn. And we're gonna name her. I really loved it for its difficulty. Why is Diamond and Pearl bad? Many reasons. Lack of type balancing. Like if you don't pick the fire starter, you have barely any other fire options. The battles are slow. Sinnoh is a very tedious region to traverse because of all the different terrain things that they have. Like the mud and snow, you're always getting caught in it. Team Galactic is just I kind of gotten sick of the villainous teams that are like, oh, I want to destroy the world and create a new one. Cyrus was just basically a guy that just wanted to run away from home, and I'm just like, okay, bitch, no one is gonna miss you. Bye. Let's see. Your name is Basura. Yes, I am. Yes, it is. Yes, Don is Basura. Basura means trash in Spanish. Oh, I just realized you guys can't see the name. You guys will find out. What might his name be? I don't know. What are we gonna name my rival? What are we gonna name the rival? I never really had any ill will towards Barry, but I mean, I got it. I got it. No, not silver is not gonna fit. Damn it. I know about the fire problem that was only fixed in platinum. Too bad the movement mechanics weren't. Everything is slow in Diamond and Pearl. I should not have to be able to get up, fix a cup of water, come back, and the health bar is still going down. You know what? Since we're using Spanish insults for names, let's go here. Where's the J? There's the J. And it fits perfectly. I really like Cyrus for how absolutely evil he was. Yeah, it's too bad he was freaking boring. Not to mention that Team Skull had like, not Team Skull, Team Galactic had literally no organization. Like, what was the point of them stealing honey? None. There was none. The only good thing about Team Plasma, not Plasma, I'm getting my villainous fuckboys mixed up. The only good thing about Team Galactic is their battle music. That's it. The only thing I know is that you found Don whiny. Well, that was the majority of it. That and the story tries to make you care about Dawn by pushing her, shoving her in your face constantly. And she's not even worth it. Not to mention that Ash's team had little variety to it, which was a problem that I had with a lot of the series. Even the advanced generation, Ash only catching 6 Pokemon. I thought it was cool that he caught more than 6 Pokemon to have rotation in his team. Okay, so now that we have gone through all that introductory stuff, at least with the getting our name and everything, we're gonna go to the options and change the text to fast. Maybe change the window up a little bit. There it is. Okay, so alright guys, now we are gonna get started. What do you think? But I won't be answering questions just yet, Teddy. Let's see. I like Mystery Dungeon largely for its slow-paced storytelling. See, there's a difference between slow and a snail's pace. But let's get to these 5K Q&A questions. So I've gone back to my 5K Q&A announcement video to see what questions were asked. So I'm gonna go from oldest to newest. So the first question we have is from Cameo Shadowness, and the question is, dude, if AJ wasn't around, who would be your best pony? Rarity. I've said numerous times before that Rarity has been my second favorite pony. If she's not second best, then she's tied with Applejack for my best pick. So yeah, Rarity. Next question is from Melanie Wendling. What's your biggest fear? Damn, we're getting into the deep questions already. Well, honestly, if I put some thought into it, I believe my biggest fear would have to be, I would say, not being able to accomplish like my goals, you know, not being able to make a living off of my artwork, and you know, dying before I'm able to, you know, make a comfortable living off of it. You know, I want to be able to say that I was able to successfully make a living off of my artwork, and I know it's possible, so hopefully that won't happen. Next question is from Zalden Wolfgang. Who inspired you to become the artist that you are today? Well, it's not one specific person. What inspired me to become an artist was just watching all these cartoons and reading all these comics, and just wanting to make my own stories with my own characters. Like, it started out with me making drawings of my favorite characters and making comics about them, and that desire just grew into wanting to create my own characters with my own stories that people would want to follow. So it's just a combination of a bunch of different cartoons and comics that I read and watched over the years. Like I said, Teddy, I'm not answering new questions right now. I'm only answering old questions. So if you have a new question, please hold it until the 6K Q&A, which will be a little later. Next question is from Venquine R. Who is a brony YouTuber that you have not done a collab with that you want to collab with? Well, I've worked with quite a few people in the community, and I think the only people that come to mind that I haven't done an official collaboration with would have to be Golden Fox and Keyframe. I do want to do a collab with them at one point, and Golden Fox actually reached out to me about a topic a couple weeks ago, so I'll have to get back. I did tell him I was interested, so I'll have to get back to him at a later date, probably in about a month or so, because ooh, engines going on in the background, just because he and Keyframe are going through some things, but that's neither here nor there. Hey, anime lover. Let's see. DJ Silverwing asks, what was your inspiration for Kevin? When as I was approaching my second year on YouTube, I was thinking about ways to kind of spice up the channel, because I didn't want it to be just reviews of MLP. In 2016, I wanted to diversify my material a bit, and because of that, I started thinking of new ways to do it. And what I noticed in the majority of the community is that the idea of having like a sidekick type character wasn't a common thing, so I figured I try and introduce that, because you know, you have evil alter egos and you have pets like a Twink with Lightning Bliss, and then how long is it until we can ask new questions? I said in the beginning of the stream that once all the old questions are answered, this stream will end, and I'll be starting a new one in about 10 minutes afterward, so I'll let you guys know. Let's see, so where was I? Right, talking about my inspiration for Kevin. So I figured, you know what, I'll have a bumbling sidekick character, and that's pretty much where Kevin came from. Let's see. Lightning Bliss asks, any future reviews you plan to do for something other than MLP? Again, this was asked like way months in advance, so I have thought about reviewing things other than MLP, and I have been doing that, as you guys have seen with my reviews on ARMS and talking about other topics outside of MLP, and I'm glad that people have taken a liking to it. I remember when I was doing Yu-Gi-Oh! Month, and so Kevin is a sidekick? No, I said sidekick, Miss Anthro, sidekick. So, damn, I did not mean to pick Turtwig. What do I do? Do I stick with Turtwig or... fuck it. I was gonna pick Chimchar because we be screwed, because we have no other good fire type options, but hey, that's what I get for not paying attention. Anyway, let's see. just restart the game. It's only the first 10 minutes. Screw it. Yeah, let's do that. Because I am not dealing with Turtwig. Might have to suffer through the first 10 minutes of this lame game, but hey, whatever. Let's see. So yeah, when it comes to Kevin, I just wanted to have kind of like a bumbling sidekick character. And when it comes to doing reviews other than MLP, I was really nervous when it came to Yu-Gi-Oh month, because I know that the majority of my audience kind of came in for the ponies. So I was a little bit apprehensive about doing a whole month of non-pony related videos about a whole different franchise that I've only talked about once previously. So it was definitely a big risk that I was taking, and thankfully it paid off. You guys seem to really respond well to the Yu-Gi-Oh month event, and I'm really grateful for that, cause it shows that I'm not just good at pony. I'm good at other things, and my channel can be about other things without alienating my audience, basically. So I'm just glad that I was able to accomplish that. So because of that, you guys are most likely going to be seeing more non-pony content in the future. I can't really guarantee what it is. Like I have my ideas written down somewhere, but I plan on exploring other non-pony ideas. So, are there going to be more? Jericho Mendez asked, "Are there going to be more collabs on your channel or on other channels?" Well, I do want to do another Kevin Meets, hopefully with Eliora, and that's gonna like all the Kevin Meets channels, like all the Kevin Meets videos, they are all done. They're all hosted on the guest channels, and then I have a collab with Silver Quill in the works that should be coming out whenever he gets to it. And what else do I have planned immediately? I do want to explore that idea of the bottled love thing that I did for my 3rd anniversary video. So I am definitely looking forward to that. Next question. Grecoy asks, have you ever heard of How to Train Your Dragon? Yes, I have. I've seen the first 2 movies, but I've only seen both of them once. When it comes to DreamWorks, my favorite franchise is actually Kung Fu Panda. I prefer that over How to Train Your Dragon. Black Belt Dragon asks, have you heard of the documentary Turtle Power? Prior to that question being asked, I didn't, but after I got it, I looked it up, and it's apparently a documentary about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So I guess that's a pretty cool thing. Can't say that I'll be watching it, but hey, I think it's cool that Ninja Turtles has a documentary, because it is a pretty well-known franchise with a lot of history behind it, and has gone through like several stages of evolution in terms of its incarnations and the types of things that it does with its characters. So I think it's pretty cool that that the Ninja Turtles have their own documentary. 670 Robin asks, what expectations do you have for a possible Celestia episode? Well, well, I'm not the type of person to set expectations for an upcoming episode. Really, whenever an episode is announced and I see the synopsis, or I think about like what I would want in an episode, all I want is for the episode to be good, and to just let the DHX tell me, show me rather, let DHX show me what they can do. Like, that's really my only expectation, that it's good. Next question is, Ambiguous Loquacious. I think I pronounced that right. What was it like being part of Cellspex's Bronalysis React to Legends of Everfree? Would you consider doing it again? Yeah, for those of you who don't know, I was in Cellspex's video, Analyst Bronies React to Legend of Everfree, and I actually thought it was pretty fun. I had never been in a React video before, so it was pretty new to me, and I did have some complications because I was recording on my webcam camera at the time because I didn't have like a regular camera to use, so my audio ended up being out of sync, so I had to jump through a couple hoops in order to get the audio to sync up correctly. But it ended up working out for the better, and when the video came out, I remember getting like a lot of questions and PMs and stuff like that saying that they really enjoyed my jokes in particular, and they really liked that segment where I kind of roasted Luna's outfit, and that ended up being something that that eventually was the inspiration for that Windy Whistles video, which I still love. So yeah, would I consider doing it again? That's a good question. I did pass on the season 6 finale video because I was just kind of done talking about the finale. You know, I made my thoughts on it, I made my jokes on it, and I just figured that anything that I would have contributed to that video would just be kind of redundant. So I thought it was for the best that I didn't take part in that. So I'm more worried that MLP will disappear from you. There's really no need to worry about that. Like, I'm not losing, it's not that I'm losing interest in MLP, it's just that I have other things that I'd like to talk about, and I think it's for the benefit of my channel and for you guys that I diversify my material, you know, like, because if I was just MLP all the time, I would get bored, and therefore you guys would get bored. So I think it's a good thing that I'm not doing just MLP. It's better for the channel, honestly. Is it me, or was there random glitching with black pixel on the screen? Yeah, that's the emulator. That Windy Whistles video was born. Oh well, that's like your opinion, man. That video was fucking hilarious. Will you at some point collab with the Yu-Gi-Oh Brony? I don't really know him all that much, and I honestly prefer to work with people I have a little bit of a rapport with, mainly because that's where the best material comes from. Like, I only did a collab with Silver because we had been on a podcast together before, and we kind of had a feel for how we would work together. So because of that, I decided to put the offer on the table, and he surprisingly took it. So I'm glad for that. Next question: Will you be reviewing the duo cartoonist animation choices, and how excited are you? This was asked by David Deister. I don't review fan animations. I prefer to review the officially released material. When it comes to fan animations, fan comics, I prefer not to review those. Next question from Kitten10333. The question is, I know you said you won't change your OC to the new changeling design, but isn't your changeling good, or is he evil? Well, I never said that I wouldn't change my OC's design. It's still on the table. I just haven't decided yet. It is likely that I will, but it's probably not gonna happen for a while. When it comes to whether my changeling is good or bad, like, for the most part he is good, but you know, he operates on self-interest a lot of the time though. Next question is from James Richardson III. Can you draw with pencil, pen, and paper? Yes, I can. I actually started out with traditional media, and when I started doing digital art, what I would do at first is I would draw in my sketchbook, then I would use my scanner to save an image file on it, and then I would do the rest of the artwork digitally. But once I got my monitor tablet, I started to try sketching digitally from scratch, and I think it worked out for the better. I think I can get pieces done faster now, but I still try to draw in my sketchbook so that I don't fall out of practice when it comes to traditional media. Like I said, Nathaniel, I do not review fan animations. Let's see. I have yet to do purely digital. What's your strategy or tactics against legendaries? Hit hard and kill them, basically. YouTube Wanderer asks, would you accept the offer on the show to be on the show as your OC? Just wondering. Honestly, I would have to decline that offer, only because I feel as though the show does too much to appease the fans. At first it was appreciated that they really acknowledged us and, you know, listened to us, but I feel as though that's kind of backfired because a lot of the times in the fan base we kind of have this sense of self-importance, and because of that we kind of get all up in arms whenever the whenever the show doesn't do something that we want. And because the show has established a reputation of listening to us, now whenever they don't, it's a problem, and they kind of back themselves into a corner with that. Let's see here. Let's see here. Next question. Okay, what gave you the idea for Kevin? I already answered that. Do you like the new changeling design? Answered by Angel the artist. I like it. I've already made it public that, you know, I really like the designs. I think they're really cool. And when it comes to whether or not I would change, it was never a matter of whether or not I like the design, but rather how much work it would take, and it would take a lot of work. Let's see. Crystal Frost, do you know Sonic the Hedgehog? If so, who's your favorite character? I do know Sonic the Hedgehog. I have played some of the games. I have been played a couple of Sonic games. My first Sonic game was Sonic Rush, and because of that, my favorite character is Blaze. She kind of has an appeal to me because as part of the very first Sonic game I played, she kind of has some sentimental value to me, and plus purple is one of my favorite colors, and I really enjoy characters that have purple in their designs. So hey, Blaze all the way. Let's see. Next question. Who is your inspiration? Already answered that. Should there be an episode or comic with Silver Spoon as the primary focus? Maybe. I would say maybe have her as a supporting character in a CMC episode first. That way we can get a little bit more of her established as an individual, get her a little bit more fleshed out before we put her as the main question in not the main question, the main character of an episode. I think she needs a little more definition before she's ready to stand out on her own. Alright, so next question. Have you attended or are you considering attending review panels at Brony conventions? Brony conventions were kind of a no-go for me this year, mainly because oh, I already answered that question, DJ. I'm answering the old question, so I'm going through all the old questions and answering them. So I was on the collab chemistry panel for BronyCon 2016, and that was a great experience. However, because I'm coming up on the end of my degree program at school, I wanted to prioritize my schoolwork first and getting my degree before over any out-of-state conventions. Like if the convention was in-state, like Furry Weekend Atlanta or MomoCon, I did go to those conventions because it wouldn't have been unreasonable for me to go because it's in my home state. The only thing I would really have to pay for would be transportation because metro and attendance. I wouldn't really have to pay for anything else except food. Whereas with an out-of-state convention, I would have to pay for airfare and let me see, airfare, hotel room, all that. I disagree with what you said about Silver. Luna was almost completely undefined as well during her real introduction. Yeah, but she had Twilight to lean on. She wasn't by herself. It was Luna Eclipse wasn't a solo Luna episode. She had characters like Twilight to lean on, and it was a Twilight and Luna episode, which is why that episode works so well, is because Luna didn't stand on her own. She had another character to work off of. If she were by herself and she didn't have anyone to work on, then that would be a problem. So, Metagamer asks, are you a fan of Doctor Who? No, I am not. I am aware of Doctor Who. I have somewhat of an idea of what the series is. I believe it's kind of like a sci-fi kind of thing, but it's just not my cup of tea, so I just don't play it. Let's see. How much did I miss? I actually did Melanie, I actually did answer your question about a couple minutes ago, actually. So you came just in time. So yeah, I will be posting this on YouTube after the stream is over, so you guys will be able to see the answers to the questions. So no worries about that. Let's see here. Joking Jackson. No, yeah, Jackson. Thoughts on Sun and Moon. I love Sun and Moon. Really enjoying Gen 7 so far. Definitely looking forward to Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. I appreciate the change of pace that they tried to implement with the trial system, and I'm hoping that while it worked out well for the most part, I'm looking forward to seeing what improvements that they introduce with Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. Like, I know that Mina, the fairy type trial captain, is gonna get her own trial, so I'm looking forward to seeing what kind of changes they implement. It'll kind of be like a Black and White 2 thing, only it's kind of unclear whether or not Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon are direct sequels or just retellings. Either way, I'm looking forward to it. I mean, I wouldn't mind going through the Alola region again. Alola region is lit. So yeah, Sun and Moon. I can't really say whether or not Gen 7 is my favorite gen yet, only because it's not done and we've only had one set of games for that gen. So keep in mind, guys, I'm only answering old questions from the old Q&A videos, so if you guys have to keep answering new questions, I'm gonna have to put you on timeout for a little bit, unfortunately. X and Y more or less kill Pokemon for me. X and Y was fine. Let's see. Are you happy with that nickname? Yes, I am. Codetech asks, what is your view on clappers? I don't really judge people's habits on what they are into, like when it comes to what turns them on or whatever. As long as you're not, my policy is, as long as you're not hurting somebody or infringing on somebody's rights, then hey man, whatever floats your boat, man. You know, I think people kind of get a little people get a little too concerned with what other people do in their lives, so I'm not really one to really care about that unless it's actually causing harm to someone else. So MD Webster, what kind of movies, television, or comics do you like to watch the most? My favorite genre is comedy, hands down. I love to laugh, and comedies are just a really good way for me to relax. Whenever I'm having a stressful day or I'm not feeling like 100%, I'll either like play an old stand-up, some stand-up audio, watch a stand-up special, or watch an episode of a comedy series that I know I like. One of my favorite sitcoms, two of my favorite sitcoms are The Golden Girls and Everybody Hates Chris. Love those shows to death. Like, two of my favorite sitcoms of all time. And they always manage to put a smile on my face. So when it comes to what type of stories I like, comedy, period. Let's see. Which MLP character do you feel should get more screen time? It would have been easy for me to answer this question before, but now I'm feeling that I feel like asking for more screen time with a character isn't enough. Like, it's one thing to have screen time, and it's another thing for that screen time to actually be worthwhile. So I would like to see more worthwhile stories with the Royal Sisters. I would like to see more worthwhile stories with Sakura, but that's kind of a very general kind of thing to ask for. So one of my favorite episodes is when they skip school to meet with. That was a very good Everybody Hates Chris episode. Like, I felt that Chris and Drew's relationship was kind of like lacking. They didn't really interact much throughout the series, so I thought it was cool to have that happen. Let's see. Chris Fandom asks, is there a character that you dislike more than Pinkie Pie? And they don't have to be from MLP. I honestly don't know if I dislike them more than her, but I will say that since we're playing Pokemon, Misty and Dawn are definitely on that list. I always found it kind of hypocritical that Misty would bludgeon Ash over the head with like a log and like constantly berate him, and all the while being a glorified babysitter that barely ever battles and no one bats an eye. Yet when it comes to Black and White, all Iris does is call Ash a little kid, and everyone loses their freaking minds, and it's so funny. Like the dissonance between the two. I don't know if it's just because of a nostalgia blindness or what, but that dissonance between Misty and Iris is just hilarious to me. Let's see. I didn't think you would like sitcoms. Well, why? I mean, I've said a lot. I've said many times that comedy is my favorite genre. That's why I like My Little Pony. It's basically a slice of life sitcom with magic in it. That's what I like about MLP. I like the more slice of life elements to it. And those tend to be some of my favorite episodes. Like, yeah, the big adventure episodes are cool, but I just like seeing characters interact and, you know, be funny. Let's see. Are you Graham Pitch? I'm really sorry I butchered your name, but Graham asks, are you planning to attend any upcoming Brony conventions this year? No. Mainly because, again, I wanted to prioritize my education. So what the hell is Lucas telling me? I was just reading questions and not even paying attention. Why don't you tell your family? Ugh. Goddamn. Piss off, Lucas. Let's see. The thing with Iris was that was not the thing herself. It's because she was drawing attention to Ash's incompetence. Well, Ash was always incompetent, so I don't see why it's suddenly a problem now. They all suck anyway. If you're referring to sitcoms, Miss Anthro, untrue. Falsehoods and untrue. I love sitcoms. Oh, that reminds me, Superstore comes back tonight, so I gotta watch that. I never figured you were into the Golden Girls. It's a recent interest. I only started watching the show about 2 years ago, and I'm on like season 5. No, I just finished season 5. I'm on season 6. So I'm almost done with the show, actually. Let's see. The lack of magic is why I don't like sitcoms. Well, I mean, sometimes I just like just regular life stuff, you know? Hence why Superstore is... Anybody who's worked retail would like watching Superstore. It's basically The Office if it took place in Walmart. But let's see. Next question. Minion of the East asks, will you plan on anything non-MLP related for a future review? with any of your fellow reviewers for a collab. So basically the question is, I've done non-MLP reviews before, but will I do one as a collab? That's actually a very good idea. The first person that comes to mind would probably be Eliora, mainly because I know that we're both very into Pokemon, and a Pokemon review video between the two of us would be awesome, because I've known Ellie for about 2 years now. We really click, and I know that I really enjoy talking with her, and I know that anything that we make together, at least writing wise, is gonna be good. Let's see. Nico asks, do you watch Nostalgia Critic or Star Wars? I really only watch not Star Wars. I only watch Nostalgia Critic once in a while. Like I watch him often enough that his videos will show up in my recommendations whenever he releases a new one. But I'm not subscribed to him, mainly because I don't really watch everything he watches. If he puts out a video about something that I'm either very familiar with or have seen before, then I'll give the video a watch. Other than that, I don't really watch his content religiously. As for Star Wars, I am not a Star Wars fan. There aren't that many sci-fi stories that I'm into, and Star Wars just never interested me as a story, so I never watched it. So, oh no, I was referring to Pokemon heroines. Oh, if that's the case, then shit, May and Serena are the best. Let's see, who are your favorite Cartoon Network characters? I'm just gonna think of the first one that comes to mind, and Blue from Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. Foster's is one of my favorite cartoons. I really like the very quick fire, over the top humor, and they mix it up with some nice dialogue based humor, and I think that the balance between the two is awesome. So yeah, Blue from Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends is my final answer. Des Kiez asks, is Kevin a reoccurring character on your channel, or does he have a story arc that will go somewhere? He is a reoccurring character, as you guys have seen him over the course of the past year. That I've been that I've had him on the channel, so he is a reoccurring character, and there might or may or may not be a story arc about him. Maybe, possibly. From Amelina 44th, question is, what are your favorite comedy movies? Again, going off the top of my head, 21 Jump Street and 22 Jump Street. I really like the Jump Street remakes. I want to have a nice mix of old and new comedies. Friday with Ice Cube, Barbershop 3. What's a really good comedy I've seen? Oh, Horrible Bosses. Definitely Horrible Bosses. Really thought it was a really creative concept. The idea of like these 3 employees plotting to kill their bosses. Like it's that kind of dark-ish humor that I thought was pretty entertaining. So let's see. The MLP show has tackled a lot of Greek and a little of Norse mythology. What other mythologies from other cultures do you want the show to tackle in future seasons, and why? Well, I'm not really much of a mythology buff, and I'm more into the show for the characters and their interactions than for lore, because I honestly feel as though lore is not as important as people like to think it is. A lot of people think that good lore makes a good story, but that's actually backwards. A good story makes good lore. Lore is an afterthought, basically. Because I feel as though when people hyper focus on the lore, when consumers hyper focus on the lore, they miss the point of the show. When writers hyper focus on the lore, they forget to write an actual story to go with it, and it ends up suffering for it because all they could think about was lore. And that's kind of a thing that a lot of upcoming writers are kind of falling into now, and it is disappointing, and it's something that I had to knock myself out of with my own stories that I've been writing. Like I have a comic that I want to do next year, and when I first started writing it when I was in high school, I focused so much on the lore that I forgot about characters. So what I ended up doing about a year later is building things from the ground up with the characters first and the lore second, and I feel as though it's a stronger product as a whole because of it. So next question is would you consider doing a collab gaming video with me? Well, as I said before earlier in the stream, I honestly prefer to work with people that I have more of a rapport with. When it comes to collabs with random people I don't really know, I tend to shy away from that, mainly because I don't know what kind of chemistry I have with this person. So I don't think that us working together would kind of have a lasting impression. Let's see. Thank you, Sketchy. I hate it when shows try to make lore number one. Well, you're welcome. You know, story and characters first, not lore. Next question is, what is your favorite funny movie? So that falls into favorite comedies. Besides the MLP comics, do you read any other comics? Yes, I'm a big fan of the Scott Pilgrim series. I was reading the IDW Ninja Turtles comics, and I really should get back into those since they have the hardcover collections out. So I should get back into that. As for other comics, I mean, if manga counts, I have been reading JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Haikyuu, and My Hero Academia. If that's I'm not so sure I'm a real lore person. Well, it's fine when you're to be into lore, but it's not the most important thing in the story. It's fine to be invested into a lore, but when it becomes the number one priority, that's when stories suffer, and that's when criticism suffers, because if you focus too much on the lore, then you miss the point. Doughboy123x asks, do you get flack for creating not safe for work material? Not really. For those who don't know, I have been doing not safe for work artwork because I've been wanting to branch out, both as an artist, and I feel as though I've gotten a little bit better, because when you draw that kind of stuff, your mistakes become a lot more apparent because characters don't have clothes to hide behind. You know, their bodies are front and center, so your anatomy mistakes are right there for everyone to see, and because of that, I feel as though that my anatomy skills have gotten a lot better, and I think that's gonna work wonders for when I actually do my comic, because when I have to do action poses and stuff, I'll know what to do. I'll know how to pose and how to compose my shots. And I've also kind of opened up and talked to and communicated with a lot more other artists. For those of you who follow me on Picarto, you guys seen that I stream with Zuira Kitsune a lot. He's been a big help in my work as well. So yeah, nobody really gives me flack for making not safe for work material, so that's pretty awesome. Let's see. Frost Bear asks, what I want to know is how did you get to this point? I'm still struggling with my videos. Well, I'm gonna be completely 100% honest with you guys, okay? I know that a lot of people like to romanticize the idea of, you know, being a YouTuber and, you know, being successful, and if you're passionate about it, you can succeed. And as much as we like to believe that passion is the only thing you need, you also need skill, because passion doesn't always translate into skill, and some people pick up on the skills more easily than others. Like, for example, it took a while for me to get off the ground because, number one, my videos were pretty unorganized. For the first couple months of me doing YouTube, I was mainly just I was mainly just talking off the top of my head, and there were a lot of times where when I was doing a review, there would be something that I wanted to say, but I forgot to say because I didn't write it down, and that really kneecapped my talent. And when I started getting better when I started scripting, and I also started getting better when I finally got a good mic, because as petty as it sounds, you need to have good mic quality, because it is kind of grating on the ears when your mic doesn't sound good. And on top of that, and this is something that's a little bit out of people's control, is you gotta have a good voice. What a lot of people don't understand is that you really need to you really have to articulate yourself and speak clearly when you are when you're doing a video. Like when you guys see my videos, when I do my content, it's very to the point, and the statements follow one after the other. Whereas in this stream, you guys see that I'm constantly tripping over my words. I stutter and I say a lot because see, I just did it. Thinking off the top of my head, you know, I have to come up with the thoughts. Finally, I found the shinks. Okay. So, what was I saying? Oh yeah. So, if you really familiarize yourself with a person's work, you'll definitely notice the difference between how they speak in videos and how they speak on live, basically. Because when you're doing scripted content, you tend to have a different voice. Not a completely different voice, mind you, but rather a different delivery. That's a better way to describe it. You have a different delivery, and you really see the difference when you really familiarize yourself with a person's work. So really, when it comes to how I got to this point, I had to pay attention to how I was making my content, and I really had to be very self-critical about myself, like not to the point of self-deprecation, but you know, just being honest with myself about where I stand and where I can improve and where my videos can be better. And because I'm constantly asking myself that, how can I get better, at least I hope I am getting better. Let's see. Oh, this one's a female. I kind of want a female Shinx more than I want a male Shinx, so we're just gonna catch this lovely lady right here. Charisma is needed when talking to people. Oh, that's definitely a good point. You definitely do need charisma. But let's see. What is your favorite animated movie? It's hard to pin it down to one. Like, the best I can do is kind of like, the best I can do is pick a certain time period and pick my favorite animated movie from that time period. So favorite animated movie from the mid-90s would be Lion King. Favorite animated movies from the early 2010s would be Kung Fu Panda 2, and the late 2010s would be Zootopia, basically. So next question is, yes, I would like to name my Shinx. Let's see. You horn dog catching female Pokemon. Only because female Shinx looks better. Plus the idea of having plus female lions do all the fighting anyway. So obviously the female is better when it comes to Shinx. So let's see. Next question. Neville asks, who are your favorite YouTuber or YouTubers? I'm actually gonna go outside of Pony for this one. Again, since we're playing Pokemon, one of my favorite YouTubers is The King Nappy. He's a very outspoken, boisterous person. He does a lot of Pokemon Let's Plays and Pokemon related content, and he's really the only Pokemon YouTuber that I watch consistently, because I really love his style. And yeah, I really like the way he does his work. So let's see, Party Pokemon. And then I also like a channel called Fine Game Girls. Basically, it's a comedy channel where every episode focuses on a different girl from video games or a different group of girls from anime, and the host basically gives his thoughts on how good looking they are, and it's hilarious. It's definitely not safe for the children's, but it's definitely one of my favorite comedy based channels on YouTube. Let's see. Like, female lions don't do the fighting, the males do the fighting. Well, they do the hunting, and hunting requires fighting, so close enough. Let's see. Morpheus ZX, are you familiar with Mega Man? And if so, which timeline is your favorite, including one favorite series from said timeline and why? Well, I'm familiar with Mega Man, but I don't have a single clue on what the timelines are. All I can tell you is that my favorite incarnations of Mega Man are Battle Network, or NT Warrior. That's what it's called, I think, and Star Force. That's pretty much all I can tell you. Let's see. Are there any comic series that you have planned or are personally looking forward to making and releasing? Well, I said before that I do have my own original comic series planned that I want to start in 2018, and hopefully I can get to work on that after I finish school. Let's see. Oh, it's good to know that there are other FGB fans up in here. Anime girl thinks sounds like something I would actually absolutely hate. Well, to each their own. I personally, you guys know me, I love my comedy, and Lance, the host of FGB, he is a kick, and he's really good at improv as well, and he makes all the music for his own own channel, so I think that's pretty cool that he produces all of his own stuff. So, next question. What are your top 20 episodes from seasons 1 through 6? That sounds like something that should be in a video and not in a Q&A, unfortunately. So that's something that's going to require actual thought and planning, so I unfortunately cannot answer that. DJ Corona Gamer asks, what do you consider your favorite episode of MLP, and why is it your favorite? My favorite episode of MLP is A Cancel-Out Wedding. Mainly because I like the mix of slice of life with a big epic story. It's something that I really appreciated from that episode, and I actually watched the episode with my little sister at first, and the age gap between me and my sister is similar to the supposed age gap between Twilight and Shining Armor, so it kind of had a special connection for us because I remember my sister telling me, you know, if your wife ends up being an evil shapeshifter, you know I'm killing her, and I'm like, I appreciate that. so it also has a lot of personal value for me. So yeah, comedy is my least favorite genre. Oh, that's a shame. I love to laugh, so comedy is way up there for me. Let's see. If the show added a new non-pony race, how would you want it to play out? I just want it to be a good story. That's pretty much it. Like, I'm a simple guy with simple needs. I just want good stories. You know, I feel as though if they put too much thought into like, oh, how we're gonna establish this big new race of characters, and it's like, dude, just have a character, you know? You introduce Griffins in one episode, and then you have them appear again in later episodes. You know, you have when Gabby showed up in season 6. You know, she was a standout character for me, mainly because of her personality. and showing how she's a little bit different from the other Griffins. So it's not really something that really has to be, it's not rocket science basically. You know, you just you have an interesting idea and you work with it, and it's not something that you nail on the first time. It's something it's a process. You know, if you're establishing a whole species of characters, then that's something that requires like that requires, it's a long-term process basically. Next question: who is your favorite MLP princess? If you had asked me this about a year ago, I would have said Luna without hesitation, but right now, all like Celestia, Luna, and Cadence are all tied with me. I like each of them for different reasons, and they each have their own shortcomings that prevent them from standing out as my definitive favorite. So the three of them are tied for my favorite princesses. Twilight, I don't say Twilight not because I don't consider her to be a good princess, but rather I feel like her role is more than just a princess, and I see her as more than just one of the princesses. So she is one of my favorite characters, but I wouldn't say she's my favorite princess. Let's see. Next question. Let's see. Cap Drago asks, why do you hate it so much when people tie your character OC to your standpoint towards the show, like when changelings appear, such as the episodes involving Thorax? I get that you don't like that people think that just because your OC is a changeling that you would automatically like episodes involving changelings, but I guess it would be nice to have a little more depth into it. Well, I mean, you pretty much answered your own question. There was a period in season 6 where a lot of people were asking me, what's your thoughts on the changeling episode? What's your thoughts on the changeling episode before it even came out? Mainly because my OC was a changeling. They assumed that because my OC was a changeling that I would have a lot to say about the changeling episode. But the thing is, I can only have something to say about it if the episode gives me something to say. If the episode has material that I can talk about. And it was just kind of frustrating at the time that my identity, not really my identity, but my opinions were tied and hinged on the fact that my OC was a changeling. And I just found it kind of disappointing that it kind of gave me the impression, I know that this isn't what the majority of people thought, but it kind of gave me the impression that I have to be about changeling just because my OC is a changeling, and I have to be excited for a changeling episode because my OC is a changeling. And I just felt like that kind of, it was kind of a pigeonhole kind of thing where it was like, you know, I'm more than that, you know. But it hasn't happened nearly as much, if at all, this season. So thankfully people were able to pick up on the fact that my OC is not what my OC is not 100% who I am, if that's a good way to put it. Basically, just because I'm a changeling doesn't mean I gotta be excited for every changeling thing that comes out. Let's see. When did you become a brony? 2012. Humphrey Jasper, how good looking do you think you are on a scale of 1 to 10? I would say that on a bad day, I'm like a 6. I'm like a 5 or a 6. On a good day, I'm about an 8 or a 9. So I guess I would average out at about a 7. Yeah, I think I'm a 7 on a regular day. If I dress myself up, you know, get my hair did and dress up real nice, then I'm like an 8 or a 9. But on an average day, I'm like a 7. What was life like in the Virgin Islands up until high school? For those of you who don't know, excuse me, I was born and raised in the U.S. Virgin Islands in the Caribbean, and I would say that life was pretty normal, I suppose. The school system isn't really that much different from the U.S., so I'm trying to think about things about my home life that are like significantly different enough from the U.S. to where it's something worth mentioning. And really, I feel that one thing is that because it's such a small island, and it's a small community, a lot of people know each other. I had mentioned this in passing in my 2K subscriber special like 2 years ago. Good God. And I mentioned that because it's a small community, chances are like if you meet somebody, they probably know someone that you're related to. And especially because my parents were like well-known people, because my dad does a lot of non-profit work and my mom is a teacher. A lot of people knew my parents, and basically if I wanted to turn to a life of crime, it would be hard to get away with anything, because people would immediately say, oh, that's so and so's son, and then my ass would be in trouble. So I mean, at least it kept me out of trouble, so I can say that. Who is your favorite brony in the community? I don't have one. I honestly don't have one. I watch different people for different reasons, and I don't really have a significant favorite. Let's see. Wild Rook asks, any more plans involving Kevin, as in meeting Dr. Wolf and the missus? I honestly don't know. I honestly don't know, because a lot of the material that I do with Kevin isn't very nice, to say the least, and that's not really Dr. Wolf's style, you know, and I respect his craft enough to not want to intrude on that. So if I were to work with him, I would prefer to do something that the both of us can enjoy, rather than just something for my own benefit, because that is something I feel as though that's important for collaboration, is that both of the collaborators get some enjoyment out of it. And if I'm doing something that I enjoy but my partner doesn't, then, you know, that's not fun, basically. Let's see. Do you watch anime, and if you do, what is your favorite? I do watch anime, actually. One of, like, what I'm currently watching right now is My Hero Academia. I watched JoJo's Bizarre Adventure on Toonami. Let's see. What else am I watching? Oh, I just recently started watching this show called Classroom of the Elite. It's basically a group of kids that go to this high school where it's a huge meritocracy, and instead of getting grades, you get points, and you use points to like buy things like food and essentials and necessities. And like the whole first episode has this really big bomb drop where it's like you're introduced to the school, and it's like its own city, and everything you need is there. Like you can go grocery shopping, you can go shopping for like video games and whatnot. You pretty much have everything you need, and all the students got like about, I think, $1,000 US. Like I think that's what it converts to. So they got about $1,000 US, and they were told that they get more points every month. What they didn't tell them is that the points that they get is related to their performance in school. So they all slacked off and really shirked their studies, and because of that, they got no points. And so from the second episode onwards, they're basically scraping by, trying to play by the school's rules. So I thought that was a pretty good series. Psycho Pass is one that I watched a few years back, and I still really enjoy. I actually have the movie on Blu-ray, and I still haven't watched it, but I need to. Let's see. What is something about MLP that you love, but for a personal reason, rather than something that most people would resonate with? I would say that part of the reason why I like Applejack and Rarity is that they kind of remind me of my parents. Not in the way they interact, but how they are as individuals. Like I do want to go into this a lot. I do want to go into this into more detail in the video, But Applejack reminds me a lot of my father because the both of them are very family oriented, put a lot of importance on family, and they're both very hard workers, and sometimes they can forget to relax and just, you know, chill and not worry about work so much. And Rarity reminds me a lot of my mother because she's always helping somebody. She's always whenever there's someone that she knows that is going through some rough times, she puts time aside to help them. And she's also very fashion aware. Like, I remember when I was in middle school, I finally went to a school where there was no uniform, where you could wear just regular clothes, because a lot of the schools that I went to beforehand, there was a uniform. So when I started going to a non-uniform school in middle school, when I was with my mom, what she would do is that she would plan out my wardrobe for the entire week. What she would do is that she would hang up all the outfits for each day, and then when I wake up in the morning, I just take an outfit off of the hanger, and just put it on. So she really made sure that I looked good. So I'm only answering old questions right now, Photon. Let's see. Are you excited for the season 7 villain? No, because I've seen literally nothing about it, and getting excited before you actually see material creates false expectations. So no. Let's see. Next question. Let's see. Out of all the members of the Rift Cafe, who would you go on an adventure with? Keyframe and Eliora, because the banter would be delicious. Let's see. You mentioned in a previous video that you have a design planned of your post season 6 finale changeling, and if so, when may we see it? Yeah, I did. Sounds like a good woman. You must be lucky. I'm beyond lucky to have the parents that I have, especially knowing what kind of parents are out there. I'm beyond lucky. But yeah, so I do have a design set for my OC. It's just a matter of doing the poses. So no, you can't see it. I did show my patrons in my Discord server, so that's available for them to see. But as far as you guys seeing it, you guys will just have to wait. Sorry. If you could have any Legend of Zelda companion, which would you choose? I'm not really into Legend of Zelda, and I've only played like Wind Waker, and I didn't even make it halfway through that game before I gave up on it. Yeah, Legend of Zelda isn't really my thing, so none. I'd go solo. Let's see. Gabe C asks, in regards to your Sketchy Dates series, have you ever thought of drawing Sketchy Dates changelings? This was back when I did the Sketchy Dates series, and even when I was doing it, I didn't want to do Sketchy Dates changelings because the entire how's making friends with the Wilsonator going? We've been friends. Anyway, I was saying that the whole point of the Sketchy Dates comics was to kind of do a commentary on interracial dating, only like what would interracial dating be like in the MLP world. So having Sketchy Dates changelings kind of defeats the purpose of that whole series. Let's see. Cyberton 9000 asks, what is a ship that you like? Well, people who are familiar with my content know that I am a devout follower of the Church of Rarajack. It is a superior ship. It is a superior church. Let's see. comics other than MLP? I already answered that. Considering reforming or changing OC? Already answered that. Have you ever read or listened to an audio version of Fallout Equestria? No, because I'm not into crossover fics, and I'm not into Fallout either. So, no. Next question. Would you rather have eternal knowledge or eternal wealth? Knowledge doesn't pay bills, so I'd rather have eternal wealth, just so I can live comfortably. Let's see. And actually, that about does it for the old questions. So, here's what we're gonna do. We just made it to Jubilife City. What we're gonna do here is we're gonna go in here. We're gonna heal up at the Pokemon Center. Let's see. Are you going to BronyCon 2018? I honestly don't know what 2018 is gonna be like. I graduate college at the end of the year, and I have no idea what I'm gonna be doing. I'm still working out how I'm gonna pay bills. I'm still working out where I'm gonna live. So right now, cons are the last thing I'm concerned about. So yeah, when it comes to cons, the tentative answer right now is no, because I have no idea what my life is gonna be like in 2018. So here's what we're gonna do, y'all. We're gonna save first of all. And now that we've answered all the old questions, I will be ending this stream. That way, the 5K Q&A will be separate from the 6K Q&A, and there will be 2 separate Q&A videos that you guys can watch after the streams are over. So we're gonna end things here. I'm gonna change up the stream's title, and then we will do the 6K Q&A, and I will be answering new questions. So we're gonna pause this right here. Yeah, so thank you guys for coming along. I will be back in about 5 to 10 minutes. So yeah, catch you guys soon.